Alright, so I feel like it has been forever since I last talked to you guys. This last month I have been working pretty hard, and you can tell by the videos that we published. I think you guys enjoyed it, but today I just wanted to bring things a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more easy. So today's vlog is going to be a little chat about something you might find interesting. Alright, so let's talk about how I memorize music. Now, it might come as a surprise that I don't really have a very elaborate way of memorizing music, really. The truth is that since the very beginning, anytime I would pick up the guitar or I would go to a lesson, my brain kind of goes in recording mode to a point that I still remember the lessons I had back in Barcelona with my teacher, every single one of them. I remember the things that we did, the type of scales, the things that he showed me, the pieces that we worked on. I remember the mistakes I was doing, the way he used to correct me and the phrasing. And I think that explains how my memory in music practice works, because when I pick up a new piece, of course, I can't play it fast, so I just figure out the fingering, I just figure out the phrasing, I just figure out everything. Just like I showed you in the previous tutorial about practicing a piece from scratch, the second part. And just because I question myself a lot of things as I go through it, my brain not only just sees a note and just plays it, but the action is backed up by a lot more than just that reading and then forgetting about it. So then I feel like when I'm practicing a passage, I'm already memorizing it. Of course, in the early stages of a piece, when all the passages are new, then the memory is not yet very, very solid. Then I see that I remember some bits here and there, but they don't yet connect. I'm speaking here about the first days of practicing a piece. If I am doing a smart practice, I will actually not go through too much. So then actually my memory stays much, much stronger and I build up like this. So when it happens is that once I can play the piece slowly with the sheet music in front of me, I can actually already play it without it. Now, of course, as I build a piece, you practice that work for several months, then you just reinforce that. And then it comes the second stage of the memory. At that point, when I have more or less a piece in the fingers, I know it well, but it doesn't mean that I know it for performance. Then what it happens to me is that I need something to make me a little bit alert, to try something so that I can play that piece and I can see which part of the memory is strong and which one shakes or hesitates whenever I'm under pressure. So then, for instance, in the conservatory, it worked great to do class concerts and stuff because you would go there knowing that you know it all, but then maybe there's a certain passage that you have like one moment of doubt, and those are the things that you need to know so that you go into a concert with confidence, knowing that there will not be these hesitations. And sometimes the surprising thing is that there are sections that they don't need to be difficult or really very complex. It's just simply your memory, maybe because they are simple enough to play, it didn't focus as much during the slow practice because it didn't take that much of an effort to play it. And because of that, sometimes these spots are the tricky ones in concerts where your memory can cause some sort of gap. And those are the things that then I do work with the memory. Now, what do I do when I find such a spot? Well, in the tryout or class concert, whatever it is, or you can also use the camera and record yourself with the mindset that you are performing for someone. When you spot this kind of sections, then just go back to the piece, replay it, maybe separate the voices, do separate hands practice. And what works very, very much for me is to play it in my head. So visualize the score, and together with it, I visualize both hands separately exactly where they play. It sounds maybe a little bit surreal, but that's really what helps me the most. To know that, okay, that scale, I'm going here on that string, and then the change of position happens in that fret, and then I do this kind of contraction, and just to visualize all this as if I am just watching my hand playing physically with the guitar. If I can pass in my mind the complete passage with exactly knowing at which string, which fret, and which fingerings of both hands I am using at every given moment, then I'm pretty sure and confident that I know the passage. The other thing to evaluate though is if it's a memory lapsus because your memory doubts, like I just explained, or if it's a memory blackout because of the tension of the event, of the performance. That can also happen, and that is not something that it's a problem of you not having memorized the piece, but it's something of you training for being performance ready, so that your brain does not get that anxious and blurred that it starts to mess up really with all what you know. That's just a whole other topic. Another thing that many people ask is like, it has to be very, very difficult to memorize all these super large works. And well, I will speak here from my own experience and solely my experience and the way I deal with it. I have played a very large repertoire for my final master degree. I played the Sonata Romantica of Ponce, which is over the 20 minutes, the Chacona, which is also about there, and then the third Rossiniana of Giuliani, which with all the repetitions, it's probably even a bit longer than the Sonata Romantica. And I do not remember really struggling with memory. I think then it enters into the game a different thing, which is the stamina, your focus to what you're doing. So if I was to answer the question, is a shorter piece much easier to memorize than a larger work? In my humble opinion and my personal experience only, I'm just speaking here for myself, not. It's really not. It's for me, it works the same process. It's just more about stamina when performing and concentration, and dealing with your own, let's say, thoughts that, all this thing of the negative self-talk, not to have all this thing going on so that you can keep fit for the rest of the piece, but not about the memory. So as you can see, there is really not much to it. For me, it happens automatically, and then I just need to make sure I double check on some things so that I can trust more this automation somehow, but there is not a big secret. So in very, very little summary is just put a lot of attention to what you do and think musical and just question yourself if what you are doing is helping you with this. Listen the connection, if there is legato, maybe the articulation is all staccato, if it's really coming out. And if you put that level of attention, I think your memory just goes quite a lot by itself. But again, that might be just me. So let me know in the comment box if you guys have a system for memorizing, if you struggle with it and you just hate it and you just play with the sheet music. Well, so I will be reading you. I wish you a great weekend, practice well, and I'll see you in the next one.